SpongeBob SquarePants Mysteries Stage Fright. Chapter 8. Every once in a while, just when it seems Lady Luck has dealt me a rotten hand, Dame Fortune slips me an ace. Sure, Dorado had told us to get lost, to scram, to make ourselves scarce. But now my partner and I had a terrific chance to make ourselves indispensable to the production. The director couldn't kick us out if he needed us, and the way I saw it, he definitely needed us. Bad. Sandy was pretty sure she saw where SpongeBob was going with his opportunity comment. She glanced around the backstage area. In a small storeroom marked electrical, she spotted a box of spare bulbs and another of spare lenses. Quickly grabbing one of each and a couple of tools, she scurried over to the broken stage light, careful to avoid the broken glass. "Well, I'll have this old stage light working in 2 shakes of a calf's tail," she said confidently, getting right to work with the tools and replacement parts she'd snagged. The stage light wasn't nearly as complicated as the elaborate invention she put together every day in her oak tree laboratory. In just a matter of seconds, she repaired the stage light, making it just as good as new, and she took out her lasso and tossed it up over a pipe in the open tower above the stage. Quickly tying the heavy light to the rope and securing it with an expert knot, Sandy hauled the stage light up into the rigging. "Next, I'd go up there to clamp and safety chain the light to the pipe," Sandy said, holding onto the rope. "If that is, I were your head electrician." Dazzled by her display of expertise, Martin Dorado cried, "You're hired!" Sandy gave a little salute. "Much obliged." She tied the rope to a bracket on the backstage wall, then with a single powerful leap, she reached the ladder attached to the side wall and started climbing up to the scaffolding high above the stage to secure the stage lights. The director looked at the floor in dismay. "How am I supposed to rehearse on a stage covered in broken glass?" "You're not," SpongeBob said sensibly, "because that's not safe." He grabbed a broom and started sweeping. Years of cleaning the floors at the Krusty Krab had made SpongeBob an expert at sweeping and mopping. In mere seconds, he had cleaned the stage so thoroughly that not only was there not a single shard of glass left, but the boards gleamed, looking better than they had in years. "There!" SpongeBob said proudly, dumping glass, dust, and dirt in a trash bin. "As a certified sweeper, I hereby declare the stage ready for rehearsal." "Wow," Sharpie said, trying out a few dance moves on the immaculate stage. "It feels so safe." Martin Dorado stared at the shining floor. "Much as it pains me to have someone in my theater who sings and dances the way you do." Emma interrupted, whispering, "Mr. Dorado, you're not seriously thinking of hiring these two, are you?" The director gently raised his hand, signaling for Emma to wait just a moment. He turned his attention back to SpongeBob. "As I was saying, I'm offering you the position of head cleaner. Strictly on a probationary trial basis, of course. One misstep and you're out. Interested?" "More than interested," SpongeBob said, grabbing the director's hand and shaking it vigorously. "Fascinating and happy to accept your generous offer, sir. You won't regret it. As head cleaner, I'm eager to meet my cleaning team." Dorado chuckled. "Actually, as head cleaner, you are the cleaning team." "And as head electrician," Sandy said, "I'm the whole electrical kit and caboodle." "Exactly," the director confirmed. "Well, Mr. Dorado," SpongeBob enthused, "I'm going to polish this theater until it shines so it'll be perfect for your—" Before he could finish, SpongeBob was interrupted by a blood-curdling scream. "No!" They all whipped around, facing the direction the scream came from. "I think that came from the costume department," Sharpie said. "Oh, check it out!" SpongeBob cried. "You?" Sharpie asked, confused. "The head cleaner? Why? Maybe someone spilled something, SpongeBob offered. Excuse me. He rushed off toward the costume department, remembering its location from his little drip days. I better make sure there's no electrical emergency, Sandy said, stepping back onto the stage from the ladder against the side wall. She had finished clamping the stage lights to a pipe and securing it with a safety chain. Electrical emergency? Sharpie asked. In the costume department? They have sewing machines, don't they? Sandy improvised. And irons? She hurried out after SpongeBob. The choreographer shrugged. She's got a point there. The costume department at the Droopy Lane Theater was a small room near the dressing rooms. Lit with fluorescent lights, it was stuffed with costumes, fabrics, and labeled boxes bursting with buttons, bows, belts, and brocade. The room hadn't really changed much in all the years since SpongeBob had gone in there to get fitted for costumes to run the little drip shows. He found himself wondering if any of his old costumes were still hanging in the back of a storage closet. The head costumer, a short ladyfish named Beluga Bankhead, who could do just about anything with a needle and scissors, was flipping through the costumes hanging on a rack. A seasoned professional, Beluga was known for her perfectionism, but what she was seeing now was far from perfect. SpongeBob and Sandy burst into the room. Beluga looked over from the purple robe she was inspecting. "Who are you?" she asked. "We heard a scream," SpongeBob said. "It sounded like no! Was that you?" Beluga nodded. "That was me, all right." "Are you okay? Did someone attack you?" Sandy asked. "Worse," Beluga said gloomily. "Someone attacked my costumes!" She held up the purple robe, sewn out of fine plush velvet. It appeared to be designed for a royal character like a king or a queen, but someone had slashed it with scissors. SpongeBob peered at the rack of costumes. "Attacked? How? By punching? Kicking? Insulting?" Beluga shook her head. "No, but someone's been messing with the costumes in all kinds of ways." She grabbed sleeves of costumes one by one as she listed the ways they'd been messed with. Buttons removed, zippers broken, tags switched. "Look at poor Mickey!" She gestured toward a big tub-looking fish stepping out of a changing booth. He was squeezed into a tiny pirate's costume. The small costume was so tight on him that he could barely breathe. "The tag has my name on it," Mickey wheezed. "But I don't think this is my costume." "I don't think this is my costume either," a high-pitched, muffled voice said. A big pirate costume shuffled forward. It looked as though no one was in it until a short clownfish actor named Jacob popped his head up through the neck opening. "But the tag's got my name on it!" Beluga got to work switching the name tags back to their proper costumes and repairing all the damage that had been done. Sighing, she said, "Oh, it'll take me hours to fix all this. Everything has to be perfect, don't you understand? One thread out of place is enough to ruin how someone sees a costume on stage. Just look at this top that I already have to fix." Beluga pulled out a pirate blouse that looked like it was in pristine condition. "That looks beautiful!" SpongeBob exclaimed. "It would be beautiful if it wasn't for this." She pointed at the small loose thread coming out from the collar of the shirt. SpongeBob looked closely before looking back at Sandy, who was shrugging her shoulders. "I see," SpongeBob said. "But I guess it's not just the costume department that's been attacked." "What was that crash I heard?" Beluga asked. "A stage light," Sandy replied. "It fell and landed on stage." Beluga looked concerned. "Anyone hurt?" "No, luckily," SpongeBob answered. "But someone easily could have been." Mickey and Jacob came out of the changing booths in their workout clothes. "Thanks, guys," Beluga told them. "I'm gonna need you both for another fitting once I get all of this straightened out. But for now, you'd better hurry back to rehearsal." "Thanks, Beluga," they said as they headed out of the room. "See you." Beluga shook her head, surveying the vandalized costumes. What a mess! And what a shame! Just when the theater's got such a good chance to get back on its legs, all this trouble starts! SpongeBob looked sympathetic. Yeah, somebody messing with costumes! A heavy light crashing onto the stage? And we heard about real sword and cannon swapped for the fake ones? He wanted to keep her talking about the act of sabotage. Yep, Beluga said, cutting a misplaced tag off a costume. Costumes, lights, props. Seems like every department of the theater's a target. She paused as she looked at the two suspiciously. Sorry, who did you two say you were again? The new head cleaner and electrician, SpongeBob quickly explained. He grabbed a handy broom and started sweeping. I see, Beluga said. Well, I don't think anything other than these costumes need fixing up, so if you don't mind, please leave me to my work. She quickly sewed the name tag back onto the correct costume, her needle flashing as she expertly stitched the name tag into place. Sandy leaned over, admiring her work. Beluga, I'd say you know your way around a needle and thread. You're working those sewing tools like an expert cowpoke works his lasso. Beluga just kept working, but SpongeBob caught a glimpse of a flattered smile. You know, he told her casually, I used to be in shows here when I was just a kid. I got fitted for costumes right here in this room. At some point, if you're in a show at the Dripping Lane Theater, you've got to come in here for a fitting. That's right, Beluga said. All the actors pass through this little room eventually. So I guess you hear just about everything that goes on in this old building? SpongeBob speculated. Beluga chuckled. Well, let's just say actors like to talk. Lately, a lot of them have been talking about the theater being haunted. They think all these problems are being caused by the resident ghost. There's a ghost in this theater? Sandy asked. A lot of people think so, Beluga answered. Do you? SpongeBob asked. I'm not sure, Beluga said. Probably. I've never seen a ghost, but working on costumes late at night all by myself, I've heard a lot of creepy sounds. Like what? Sandy asked. Oh, I don't know, she said, sifting through the buttons. Creaks, bangs, moans, crashes, all kinds of unexplained sounds. SpongeBob mentally filed this information away. When it came to ghosts, he was definitely a believer, having had his own encounters with the Flying Dutchman and his ghastly crew. Still, he wasn't about to just pull all the theater's troubles down to a haunting and call it a day. He wanted to cover all the bases. Anybody got any kind of grudge against the theater? Or the new show? Or the director? Beluga stopped searching through the box of buttons and looked up at SpongeBob and Sandy. Grudge? Are you asking who might be responsible for all these problems? Besides the ghosts, I mean? The two investigators nodded. Beluga thought for a moment and then said, well, actually, 2 or 3 names do come to mind. Stay tuned for Chapter 9 coming up soon.